do you think you become a better deer hunter without using trail cameras? Like when it comes to woodsmanship, can we? I'd love to have that conversation with you guys specifically on how can you increase your woodsmanship by using trail cameras? Because a lot of people, some people, there's a negativity around trail cameras because people think it's lazy. Throw a camera out like a cell camera. You wouldn't
Well,
tell a
and
buck
it,
shows
it
up.
can become a crutch.
Yeah. So like, how do you keep it from becoming a crutch, but you're also compounding and gaining more woodsmanship about how deer are using the land and not necessarily hunting over that camera?
Yeah, I think I mean, what do you think?
I think, for me personally, I think you're better off doing one of two things. You can do like I did on the Southern WMA, and that's putting out those cameras and checking them like every 3 to 5 days and seeing if you're getting deer on there until you locate the deer, and then hunting. Not worrying about the cameras anymore, or you can let them sit in an area for the whole season and then revisit after the season's over. But I think once you find out that those deer are in there, then you start doing the boots on the ground, and that's how you figure the deer out. That camera is only going to tell you what's happening right there. It's not going to tell you what's happening in that whole area. So unless you're in there hunting it and learning it and bumping deer and seeing what they're doing and when they're doing it, then all you're going to take away is what that camera saw, which is only that one little piece of information.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think a camera can replace woodsmanship, and I don't think you can be a good camera placement without good woodsmanship. Like they go hand in hand. Like if I didn't have a decent amount of woodsmanship and had been in the woods so much, I wouldn't have a clue where to put cameras at. Like I would be lost. At the same time, I can't. I can't use my cameras as a replacement for woodsmanship for knowing what the woods are doing. Like you said, all the camera does is tell me what happened in that moment at that time. Now I can use that information the next year, which is what I try to do, to put myself in that same situation. But again, even then, I've got to read the sign, and the sign has to tell me, okay, things are lining up. Like the camera can only do so much for you. I think a lot of people want to use the camera to kill a buck instead of trying to kill the buck and letting the camera help them. If that makes sense. They're putting the cart before the horse.
That's a really good point. But I bring it up because I feel like I don't know how large that group of people is, but percentage wise, but I know there are some people out there that are like almost anti trail camera because I feel some people think that with trail cameras is more of a competition. Like I've got this big buck on camera, I'm claiming that deer and I'm hunting that deer. And if someone comes in on me, then we're gonna have some disputes compared to just hunting sign, and you don't really know what it is until you show up. That deer walks out in front of you specifically. So, but the trail camera aspect to me, I mentioned this last Thursday, is I feel like it's a way that you're able to confirm how good are you at reading sign and what you think is hot sign, and also confirming whether or not you think it's daylight activity or nighttime activity based on what you're finding. You're putting a camera on it to confirm that.
I think people are too cautious these days. Plain and simple. Like I think people are too afraid to mess up, and you're only going to learn by messing up. Go in there, blow the deer out. Use that for next time. You know where the deer are at. A lot of people go in for a morning hunt and leave and go get something to eat. If you know they're bedded down, go find them, go bump them, go jump them out of their bed, pin it, and then for next time. Like people are just want to go in and be tiptoeing around an area real easy, not pushing in hard enough, not seeing a deer, and then thinking it's a bad area. But a lot of times, just like the other day when we was up there, that deer was 10 feet away from me. Just don't be too cautious. Don't rely on a camera to tell you what's going on. Go, turn over every leaf.
Go Dilla on them.
Go Dilla mode. Yeah, if trail camera placement is going to be really tough if you can't read sign. Like to be effective with it, like you're going to have to be able to, you need to hone your skill for reading what the sign is telling you, and a trail camera only can confirm what you're seeing. a lot of people have asked me why I went so gung ho into trail cameras, and I was really just trying to chase one deer to start out with. That was what it started out with, is just trying to figure out what one deer was doing, and that's really all I'm doing right now. Is the same thing, except it's more than one deer. It's just, I figure if you use them the right way, then they're not a crutch. They're just letting you know, hey, that deer is there. That's really all I want to know. The deer is there. He's kind of in this area during this period of time. Now let me see if I can go dissect his sign enough to kill him. So it just gives you that little piece of information. If you use it different than that.
Yeah, if you're one of these guys, a weekend warrior, and half of the weekends you can't even go, a trail camera is a man day. I mean, if you look at it that way, like each day that it's out there is another man day. I mean, it's in the same location, but the more trail cameras you got, the more different areas you're technically hunting. I mean, if you're limited on time and you only have certain days, then use something like that to help you. I mean, but don't rely on it. I mean, if you have the time and you have, the chance to go scout. It's worth a lot more than a trail camera.
Yeah, just to explain the idea of man days too, for anyone who might be unfamiliar, is like if me and Pike go and hunt on Saturday, that's 2 man days. We hunted on Saturday, but it's 2 man days because there was 2 of us out there that spent a day hunting. If all 4 of us went hunting on Saturday, that's 4 man days. And I know that Georgia Outdoor News does this. Back when Alabama Outdoor News was still around, they did this, but they would do like man days per kill on WMAs. And you could go on there and you can look. It's like, oh, this WMA has 4.5 man days per deer that is like checked in on that place. And there's some other ones that are like 483 man days per kill, which we all know what that place is. And so that's what you mean by man days. And that's a good point. Like the trail camera acts as a man day. And Shane, also really like what you brought up earlier is you're putting these trail cameras, specifically the ones you're going to leave for a long time, in spots that you want information from, but that you're not necessarily going to go in there and bust into to hunt. And that kind of ties in with what Jacob was talking about with the SMZs, where this SMZ goes way up in this cut, and these deer are bedded all up in that cut in the thick cover. And if you go up in that SMZ, you're just running right up into the heart of the bedding, essentially, and you're going to blow everything out. So when you're putting your cameras in spots like that to gather data, how are you determining what is the safe spot to hunt, where you're close enough to kill him, but you're not so close that you're going to blow him out every time, that you basically just don't have a chance?
I mean, man, that's a fine line, because I mean, you can think you're in the right spot and you're not. That's so hard. It depends on the terrain. I'm always gonna be on the safe side, of that. I'm gonna, if I'm trying to hunt an area like that, I'm gonna figure that buck is gonna be in the thickest portion of it, and then I got to hunt kind of based accordingly, So I know if I go up all the way up in that SMZ, I'm probably not doing any good. So I'm just trying to get myself. It may take me 2 or 3 hunts in an area like that to get close, because I think you're just trying to pick. I know you're wanting to say. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that's one of those things where you have to kind of start at the basic, and then as you get more information in that SMZ or that kind of area, you're kind of building hunts off of. So you may stack a couple of hunts to really, a couple of observation hunts, see if you're in the game. If you're blowing deer out, probably just back out and find a different place. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Start cautious, work your way
start cautious, work your way in. If you start seeing it affecting the deer, maybe you need to get out. If you don't, just keep pushing your luck a little bit.